God bless you wherever you are watching us today, whichever country, whether it's night, evening, or daytime in your country. We want to welcome you to SendMe Radio. We promote the gospel, and tonight we will be having a discussion on domestic violence. And the question is, should a woman or a man remain in an abusive marriage? And we're joined here by our pastor, Pastor Chidi, which is the one that will be, going into the discussion. But first, I'm going to read something for you. Okay, as it pertains to domestic violence, we're going to define what domestic abuse or domestic violence is. It says right here that domestic abuse, also called domestic violence or intimate partner violence, can be defined as a pattern of behavior in any relationship that is used to gain or maintain power and control over an intimate partner. Abuse is physical, sexual, emotional, economic, or psychological actions or threats of actions that influence another person. This includes any behavior that frightens, intimidates, terrorizes, manipulates, hurt, humiliate, blame, injure, or wound someone. Domestic abuse can happen to anyone or any race, age, sexual orientation, religion, or gender. It can occur within a range of relationships, including couples who are married, living together, or dating. Domestic violence affects people of all socio-economic backgrounds and educational levels. So you don't have to be on a higher income or a lower level income to be affected. This can happen to just about anyone. So tonight, we're going to turn over to our Pastor Chidi Okorie. And, we also want to reflect on the fact that, many persons, both men and women, have stayed in such abusive relationships, and, they're no longer here to tell the tale. So we're going to look into this. We're going to have a discussion. And the next time around, we'll be live. So, you know what, you'll be able to call in and participate. So, Pastor Chidi?
Now, domestic violence, as it sounds, is what it is. When violence is happening domestically, and the domestic environment that we mean is in the family, in the house, people of the same household having issues of agreement, because the Bible said two cannot walk except if they are agreeing. So when domestic violence start happening, it is more dangerous and more deadly than outside violence, because this is a place that's supposed to be a place of rest, a place of love, a place of respect, a place that you should be running back to have peace and rest.
Yes.
But when it turns to an abode of abuse and violence, then it makes it a terrible place to stay. Mm-hmm. So people stay in it because they feel there's no other thing to do. People continue to stay in it because they believe that this is how we are cultured, that even when you are getting abused, you should take it and remain there and die in silence. So I want us to just talk few things and how people can be abused.
Yes. So the first definition here, it says like you have physical abuse, and this includes bodily harm in the case where a man or woman physically places his or her hand on either their husband or wife. At times, one party will make excuses for the other. For example, the woman or man might show up at work with bruises on the eyes, face, or other parts of the body due to someone using their fists or heavy object against the other person. Oftentimes they will make excuses stating that they sustained the injury from falling, or that, hey, accidentally walked into the wall. One example of this physical abuse was the public abuse of a recent gospel singer who unfortunately succumbed to the abuse from her husband. So Pastor Chidi, if you want to elaborate some more on physical abuse.
Well, physical abuse, as it stated, is bodily, it involves bodily harm, or even if the body is not harmed, but because of the fact you raise your hand and hit someone that is supposed to love, especially adults. I mean, there are children abuse and all kind of things, but there is a difference when you're correcting a child. Don't abuse the child.
Yes.
Then the adult, you cannot correct an adult in the same manner you correct a child. You can suggest and give advice and talk, but you don't abuse physically.
Yes.
Nor emotionally. None of the abuse is acceptable, especially between man and woman, between a husband and a wife. So, no matter your race, your color, your country, your culture, your educational level, your earning power, whichever way it is zero tolerance, not acceptable at all that you should abuse your wife. In fact, I'm against it so much, very much against it, that nobody should put hand on the wife in terms of abuse or emotionally hurt the wife. Because some people, some people might not put their hands, but they rail all kinds of abuse emotionally and taunt the person, ensure the person will not rise. Sometimes these things stems out from jealousy. Some men actually envy their wife. The same happens to some women. They envy their husband. So it brings abuse. It's not only husband abusing the wife.
Right.
I've seen a case where the wife abuses the husband in a very terrible way, abusing the husband. So I want you to know, and the godly marriage does not support this. Godly marriage does not support. I want to just read a scripture that we know very well, most of us. Ephesians chapter 5. Of course, from 25 to 29. I'm going to read. Say, husband, love your wife, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
Amen. All right, so Pastor Chidi, with that, we're going to move on to the next form of abuse, which is sexual abuse. And quite a few other subtopics can come under this particular topic of sexual abuse. It says it involves sexual contact without consent. Even though the question may be asked, if a man or woman can be a victim of rape within their marriage. We will explore this topic at a later date. Might even involve, abuse against the husband or wife from a family member, or abuse against the children from a previous relationship or marriage. Now, that would be abuse against the children by, one of the spouse. Let's just say that the husband or the wife might say, okay, these are not my kids, so that's where the abuse can come in. So these are some of the topics that we'll discuss. So Pastor Chidi, I don't know which one you want to tackle first. I don't know if you want to get into any of the subtopics, or you just want to.
Well, I'm just going to describe this because of time.
Yes.
I want you to understand that, our listeners, I want you to know that there is no abuse that is acceptable. Sexual abuse has the same magnitude as emotional abuse, the same as physical abuse. But sexual abuse, of course, the government does not take it lightly from anyone, especially when it is underage. Child sexual abuse, you are going to jail. But the jail part is not even the problem, but the spiritual prison that you're going to enter, because you have taunted and haunted your emotion and somebody's emotion. So sexual abuse is deadly. But as for married couples, whether they can be sexually abused, we are going to explore the topic at a later date and allow people to comment.
Yes.
And tell us their own mind, their own thought about this very topic, because it's kind of dicey. It's kind of dicey because of cultural backgrounds and how people think of that. Of course, some people tells you that so long as both married, there is no sexual abuse. And the Bible also supports in a way that there must be, you must know that both of you are one. That's why we talk about love, but you must present love. Love your wife, and your wife will submit to you. Your own position is to love as you love yourself.
Yes. So Pastor, again, I'm sure all the kids are in bed, but this is a question that we want to throw to the listeners. Do you think that a partner within the relationship, whether the man or the woman, husband or the wife, can be sexually abused or raped during the within the marriage? That's a question that we're throwing out.
Yes, I want you to leave a comment under this video to tell us if couples, when I mean couples, husband and wife, can be abused sexually in a marriage.
Okay.
Is it possible? And tell us your mind and leave a comment.
Okay, with that, we're going to move on to our next form of abuse, which is emotional abuse. Is abusing the love and trust of someone in order to gain, or taking advantage of the fact that someone is dependent on you, and as a result, you might leave the individual at times when they need you the most and go somewhere that can wait until later on. Pastor?
Okay, emotional abuse trends from many, can come from many angles. The person might not say anything to you, but the actions, sometimes action speaks even louder than voice. So we must love, first of all, love your wife as yourself. He said, he that loveth his wife loves himself.
Yes.
But he that hates his wife also hates himself. So if you want to display love to yourself, like show us how much you love yourself, then love your wife.
Okay. Our next form of abuse is economic abuse. And the definition of this one now, it says here, use of financial, okay, you use the person for financial gain. For example, a man taking his spouse's salary. But that's questionable as well, because what about the wife taking her husband's salary? All right, Pastor, I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, I think this particular topic is a kind of dicey, but because both of you need to come into an agreement. Anytime there's no agreement, then there will be trouble.
Yes.
There will be trouble. Of course, the husband will not be targeting the wife's or waiting for the wife's salary. That is too low for me.
But it does happen.
It does happen, but that's,
I mean,
to me personally, is too low. Unless, in fact, there's no reason why, as a man, because if you want that submission and respect from your wife,
yes,
even if your wife earns 20 times more than you, still give her the money.
It's more honorable.
It's more honorable to give than to receive. I mean, do not abuse your wife economically, because it is your duty as a man to provide.
Yes. Well,
to take care of your family.
Right. I'm not saying that it does happen between us, but you know, situations like that does happen, you know.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. It is, I mean, people have different kinds of experience. But if you are a man, make sure you provide for your family. Pray to, there's no way God will leave you ashamed.
Yes.
Provide for your family. Make sure that your wife feels your presence, no matter, even if she's earning multiple times. That is, it is obvious. You know, some salaries are very obvious than the others. Ensure that every month, if you earn monthly or you earn daily or you earn weekly, depending on how you earn, ensure that you are bringing the money. Let her have the access, because it saves you many things. She won't come and ask you for money when she sees that the account is zero. Or she will look at the money and know the kind of things she will demand from you, because she have access to, she knows everything. But if you're hiding, then we won't know. She won't even know. She might begin to speculate. So it saves many things when everybody is transparent. Like, you know the salary, you know when this person earns money. So when you're asking for 1 million naira or $1 million and see that your husband only have 100,000 or 500 or 50,000, you may be wasting your time. Or the person have $20 in his pocket, in his bank account, and you're asking for $500. Then you'll be wasting your time. Of course, the man cannot perform wonders.
But especially if you're taking it and you know that you don't have that person's best interest at heart, you know, that's when it becomes, you know, abusive.
No, even if you have the best interest,
okay,
Even if you have the best interest, let the person know. Because human mind, you know, the Bible said that the heart of man is deceitful and desperately wicked. She might pretend, or he might pretend, okay, I understand, but that's not true. Cap it, make it a rule in your house. For instance, you make it, okay, before you can buy anything more than $50, I must know about it. Before you can spend anything more than $50, let me know about it.
Yes.
But if it's under 50 and it's 50, you can go ahead.
All right.
Without my knowledge. So.
All right, so Pastor, we're coming to the close of this video, but do you want us to go ahead and read out like some of the characteristics of abuse, like some of the features of abuse? Then how can you detect that you're being abused or someone is in an abusive relationship? Should we go ahead and read some of these?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so it says right here, you know, the person embarrasses or makes fun of you in front of your friends and family. You know, disregard your accomplishments, put you down, make you feel like you're unable to make decisions, use intimidation or threat to gain compliance. So this is when you know, you force the person to submit to you, tell you that you're nothing without them, treat you roughly, grab, push, pinch, shove, or hit you, call you 7 times at night, or show up at your workplace to make sure that you said you are where to just ensure that you're there then. So basically the person doesn't trust you. The person uses illicit drugs, alcohol, for excuse for saying harmful or abusive things. And these are just some of the things that you can look for to know that, okay, there's some problem right here.
Yes, of course, if you can abuse anything, you can abuse anybody.
So those are some of the red flags.
Good. If you abuse drugs or alcohol, then obviously you're going to abuse human being as well.
Yes.
So using excuses that because you drank too much or you took too much drugs, that's why you hit the person. The person shouldn't be there at all.
Yes.
For you to be hitting. Hitting is not acceptable. Don't hit your wife. Don't hit your husband.
Amen.
No matter how angry you are, don't do that. Don't hit grown-ups. Don't hit adults. Because you end up in jail. Definitely. It's a matter of time. So, and if you are getting hit, you better let people know about it.
Or you might end up...
You might end up in a very...
out of this world.
Don't stay and be getting abused. If you abuse you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, it continues. Because it's a way of trying to shut you up. It's a way of trying to bring you down. Sometimes there's no reason for that. But jealous, maybe your wife is getting prettier. And some stupid people, permit my language, will think, okay, because my wife is getting prettier, maybe another man will look at it. If you are monitoring your wife, there's no way you won't lose your peace. Stop abusing. Stop. I mean, calling your wife is good, but calling to monitor is crazy. Of course, you can ask your wife, where are you? Because you love her, you miss her. Where are you? What's up? What's going on? Oh, you're supposed to come back by 2 o'clock, but this is 5 o'clock or 6. What's going on? Are you okay? He said, yes, I'm okay. I'm just having a little shopping. Oh, that's good. Trust must be there.
Yes.
Trust. You can't deal without trust. If you try to find out every bit of step, you are the one that's going to lose your peace. You have problem. So trust your wife. Allow her to breathe. Let her have freedom. Cherish her accomplishments. Applaud her goals. Walk with her. And also walk with your husband. Walk with one another, because when both people agree, especially husband and wives, they prosper quick. They will flourish. God bless you all.
God bless you.
And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Please remember to leave your comment on the sexual abuse. The question is, can two people in marriage, husband and wife, abuse themselves sexually? Is it possible that a man is abused, raped, or the woman is abused and raped? Two people that are married. Please leave your comment, leave your thoughts. Remember to like, share,
and subscribe.
To
SendMe Radio.
To SendMe Radio.
You can find us on YouTube. We're here on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We are on Spotify. We're on all major streaming platforms. So just search for SendMe Radio. Just Google us and you will find us there. Our website is also www.sendmeradio.com. God bless you.
God bless you.